Okay, let's begin. I want to talk to you today about embodiment of authenticity, and it's going to feature some thoughts from bell hooks, human services, my experience, and what the research is saying. And we're going to finish with what it means to have courage to stay. So, first of all, I am going to sit with you and explore a little bit of what is on my heart. So, in the past, what I've experienced personally was a pull to leave. I remember feeling like it was time to exit from human services and I needed to move up some invisible ladder. I had to figure out what was I going to do to be more successful. And through a lot of years of education, I got, after that, 2 master's degrees, and now I'm in a doctoral program. And then I added on some more years of experience in the field to my belt. I am here to tell you 100%, without a doubt, with all of my heart, that that's a lie. So the idea of needing to leave human services because there's an idea of more success out there, moving up a ladder, having a more respectable role even, that's not true. Because, and I will explain all of this in a minute, but because the world does not need more success. I'll tell you what I think the world needs in a minute, but I hope that this is already hitting a memory for you, or maybe you're going through it right now, because I was listening to a podcast this morning and they were actually talking again about burnout. And is all of my channel about burnout by accident? Because it's everywhere. It's all the time. People are exhausted. And, usually the best answers comes from authors. It's the authors, the poets, the philosophers that usually create some semblance of humanity and some organization of what feels chaotic, things that I don't think science and systems and formulas can figure out or answer for us. So now to get into the answers. Okay, here's what Bell Hooks teaches. I have her book right here. It's right here. So it's Teaching Community, a Pedagogy of Hope. And I am flying through the book, and it's delicious literature. I am so thankful for the invention of books. Okay, so a bit of what she teaches is she asks, what does it mean to be authentic? And not like self-help and just loving ourselves and not really talking about anything else. Bell Hooks asks, what does it mean to be authentic and not ignoring the system around us? Because when we're being true to who we are, especially perhaps in the toughest moments, we have to be aware of the system around us. That's the whole package. That's everything that needs to be considered. So when we think we need to leave human services for money, if you're a social worker, a DSP, or a teacher, or a healthcare professional, that's a profound disservice. It's a disservice to the people that you serve, but even more so to yourself. Because, like I said, no, the world does not need more successful people. We need people who love fiercely in the face of difficulty, who don't run away from it. As a sidebar, being in the field for most of my professional career, it's pretty much all I've done. I made a decision to pivot slightly and instead focus on my daughter. At the time, my daughter hadn't turned 1 yet, and I wanted to spend more time with her. I have the luxury to make that decision. I am very privileged to be able to be with my daughter. I also decided, let's add on some work where I do I'm a human rights commissioner and I am in a doctoral program. And so with that combination, it feels like I'm pumping the energy still into human services where my passion is, what I talk about with you, but I'm able to be with my daughter and I have a lot of flexibility in my schedule now. So all of this is to say that while I deeply believe in fit and grit, which is a nod to Brad Stolberg saying, I know human services is a fit for me. I know this is where I belong and I have the grit and I've shown it, But I also had the critical thinking ability to know I've got to pause the pace and switch and focus on her, on my daughter. So that's a sidebar for more context. But let's go back to bell hooks. So your authenticity, it's not separate from professionalism. It's actually what makes your professionalism very valuable is when you're authentic. It's when you know yourself deeply and you know your values, and then you show up like that. So we show up and you create a space where you are truly yourself. You bring your whole self into the space. When you do that, you create the space for other people to do that as well. So that's building community. And I believe that community is one of the best answers to burnout and having the courage to stay, is that the community around you sees this is a safe place. We can actually be authentic. And at the same time, then you're able to exercise really healthy practices like healthy boundaries, knowing what you can take on and shouldn't take on, having a voice for others, standing up for other people, being able to jump in and hold the door open for someone, literally and metaphorically, like lending a hand to people that you work with. So creating community and having authenticity are really important answers to a lot of what we're dealing with in the field. And the third thing is you need to acknowledge your worth. You have to. I said earlier that people will leave the field because they think that they need more success and they need a more respectable job. I mean, none of us are perfect, but we are all human. We all have that in common. And your capacity for empathy and resilience and compassion, those are superpowers. And those really shine in our field. So when we build communities of resilience and compassion and authenticity, I mean, how much can we do with that? Can you imagine? So I think that teams that actually implement what they learn because they're taught by someone who's real, cultures where conflict becomes growth rather than crisis, and more importantly, leaders who can stay in this work without burning out, I really think that that's the ultimate goal. Like that's the thing that we need to aim for. And you are absolutely part of the answer. You can absolutely do this. So our impact is not just based on retention numbers. Our impact is based on our heart. It's based on showing up. The authors, the poets, the philosophers, they've all shown this. They've all talked about this. And I feel like you know in your gut that that's the answer too. You know that. Sometimes as we are in this system, it really is about the dollar. At the end of the day, we do need to make more money. So I'm not ignoring that. And if you make a choice like me where you have a child or children and you know you need to leave because you need to be a full parent, then absolutely. And ultimately, whatever you decide to do, there is dignity in that. But I just want to offer this perspective because it isn't one that I hear enough of. And so maybe a question that you can think about and explore is, what would it look like to truly and fiercely love your work, to bring your whole authentic self to the people you serve? And it's not in spite of the challenges, but it's because of them. It's in light of them. So ask for help when you need it. Model what it means to be human while being professional. And like I said, the world does not need more perfect leaders who are super successful and all this. It needs more authentic people. And I think you are exactly the kind of leader the world needs right now. So I believe in you.